All right, now that we factor values, now we're going to factor expressions. So we're always going to start by factoring the numbers. So when we look here, we look at 6 and 20. So what we're going to list out is we're going to list out all the factors of 6 and 20, and we're going to see if there are any factors that we can pull out. So 6, we have 2 and 3, because 2 times 3 equals 6. That's all that really works there, because there's no other values that work. For 20, we got 5 and 4. We got 2 and 10. And if we notice, we already see one that is common. It's that 2. So we're able to pull out 2. So when we pull out, we're going to pull out 2, and everything is going to go into parentheses. So we're going to put 2 times the 3 is going to give me 6. So we're going to have the 3 there. And then we know 2 times the 10 is going to give me that 20. Then we're going to look at our x's. And if we notice, if we do x squared, we get x times x. And x by itself is just x. So one thing that they have in common is the 1x, correct? So we're going to put that x outside, but the 6 has that extra x. And so because the 6 has the extra x, that 3 is going to get now that extra x. And when we factor it, it looks like this. Same thing we're going to do with the next question. Whoops. Let's pull it down. So now here, again, we're going to start with our values, our 12 and our 4. We got 1 times 12. We got 3 times 4, and we got 6 times 2 for 12. For 4, we only got 2 times 2 or 1 times 4. So we're going to look here. What is the greatest common factor that they have? And we see that it is the 4. The 4. So we're going to pull out the 4. We're going to start our parentheses. And our 12, we get 4 times the 3 gets us our 4. So we're going to need that 3. And it's going to be plus that 1, because 1 times 4 will get us that 4. And so then we're going to look at our equation, at our values. If we notice x and y, we do not have an x and y together on both sides. So we're just going to add it to that 3. X and y to the third. So we got rid of it. Then we see that the only thing we have in common is that c squared. So we can put it next to the 4 because it's something that they have in common that we don't need to separate. Everything else, so the x squared, y squared, has to go with the 1 because they're still here. And now we get rid of them. So now the last one, same thing. We're going to look at our values and we're going to find our values factors first. So we have 1 times 6, 2 times 3. Those are our factors of 6. Now 16, we have 1, 16, and then the 4s, because 4 times 4 will give us 16. And then 2 times 8. Then our 10, we have 2 times 5, 1 times 10, and that is it. So we're going to look at here, and the only common factor, the greatest common factor that they have is that 2. So we're going to pull that 2 out. So now we know that 2 times 3 will give us that 6. We know that 2 times 8 will give us that 16. And we know that 2 times 5, but again, we have to remember that it's a negative, is going to give us that 10. Now we're going to look at our k's. So they all have k's, right? So we have k to the 4th in the first one. We have k to the squared, which is 2k's, and then k to the 3rd. So that means I got 1, 2, 3, 4k's here. I got 2k's here, and I got 3k's there that are being multiplied. So the ones that they have in common are only the 2k's, right? So we can only get rid of 2k's on all of them. So on our first one, we're going to be left with still 2k's. On our second one, we're good. It's not going to have a k. And in our last one, it's only going to have 1k. And so our factored form is this.